Welcome to the combat zone, where the enemy's only battle cries are abandon ship, bail out, and take cover. I think we did that pretty well.
Yeah,
Welcome to the combat zone, folks.
You forgot to introduce yourself again, Nick.
Oh, we can do that now.
Okay, he's Nick. I'm Joe.
Anyway, we've got quite the lineup. We've got all kinds of fun stuff for you today. There's plenty, and there's the one thing you never run out of in this business are things to talk about.
Funny things and stupid things.
Oh, we're actually, Joseph and I were playing around with this idea of having a segment on the show called Stupid Politicians and Things That They Say, or at least we'll call it the Stupid Politicians File. And Joseph came up with, we each picked one, so I'm going to let Joseph actually, if you're ready.
No, I'm not ready.
You're not ready? Okay, well, we'll do it during the show.
We're going to get to it.
That's right. We don't have to start with it.
What I really want to start with is, okay, first let's set the table.
Okay, go ahead.
When we do these recordings, we record them in Ottawa. And I'm just saying that because not everybody will know that. And not everybody will know where Ottawa is. So Ottawa is the capital city of Canada.
And a lot of people wouldn't care.
And most people probably wouldn't care about that. So why am I saying this? I want people to know where we are. In Canada, people like to joke around about the Great White North. But the truth is, we're pretty far south insofar as the Great White North is concerned. Most of the Canadian population lives in the southern areas of the country. So we're not up in the Arctic area. It's past what's the date today? Today's the 17th of April, the 16th, the 17th of April?
I believe.
It's the 18th. No, wait a minute. Today's the 21st is Saturday.
Yeah, so back at it from there. Today's Wednesday.
It's the 18th today.
Yeah.
So today is April the 18th, and it was snowing out here again this morning. And the reason I'm saying this is sort of setting the table because we cannot let this week go by without talking about global warming and Earth Day, which I think is the 21st, which is coming up on Saturday. And, we've joked around, I think in one of our earlier episodes, we talked a little bit about waiting for global warming to hit us. And it clearly has missed us, at least it has this season.
So far.
We had snow, we had freezing rain, we had an ice storm on the weekend. And it's a little warmer today, but still snow on the ground and snowing out this morning. A little bit, maybe a little wet, but all in all, it's just been an atrocious spring so far.
We had to plow the driveway on the farm in order to get out yesterday. I was in Ottawa, but my daughter goes over when I'm here, and she looks after the animals and makes sure that everything's, the house is still standing and that kind of stuff. And in order to get in and out, she had to first grab the tractor, put the bucket on it, and actually literally plow the driveway in order to get into the farm.
Thank goodness you have a daughter that can do that.
I've got 3 daughters that can do that.
So what do? They actually put the bucket on the tractor?
Yeah, quick connect's easy. It's a couple of pins and away you go. But the fact that they know how.
A couple of pins.
It is. Just
What's the diameter of those couple of pins there, Nick?
About an inch. They're about 8 inches long.
So technically they're pins, but they're not.
They're not straight pins.
They're not pins, the kind that you think about when you just
I'm
hear,
thinking
we just put the pins in, right?
Right. No, it's not like you're holding a dress together.
A little bit like we just put the tack in the wall.
Yeah, and a little more extreme than that.
Yeah.
But they're pins about an inch around or an inch in diameter and about 8 inches long with a handle on the end. And you just put the front end loader next in there's 2 little slots where you put the top part of the part that lifts the bucket into those slots, and then when you lift it up, it slides forward hard up against those feet. And then there's 2 holes, one on either side. You slide these pins in, you wire them in wire, and you're done. It takes you about 15 or 20 seconds.
Now, Nick, nobody cares where Ottawa is.
But everybody cares about what I just said.
No, I was just going to say fewer people care about how you attach a bucket to a front-end loader.
Well, even if they didn't care, they know how now.
Speaking about farming, have you heard about this new policy about inspectors coming in and I think it's from the immigration department, if I'm not mistaken, being able to come in and inspect your books to make sure you're not hiring illegals without a warrant, without any kind of notice.
You don't even have to be home.
And you don't even have to be home. They could still come in and get one of your employees to show them your computer files, etc. What kind of a country are we living in a society?
Well, let me help people understand what's really going on here. The program is designed for temporary agricultural workers because it's hard to find people in Canada who are willing to go out and pick strawberries all day or do the hard work of picking food by hand, because it takes a lot of effort to be able to go out and harvest some of these crops. They're very low to the ground. Machinery makes a mess of them. I'm thinking strawberries specifically. And when I was growing up, it was cucumbers, we called them pickles, tomatoes, all that stuff is all picked by hand. So in order to make any amount of money in it, you got to work like a dog. And most most people just aren't interested in working that hard for that kind of a return. But people like Mexicans, people like Guatemalans, who don't have many prospects to begin with and are very hardworking people, Agriculture Canada and Immigration Canada have allowed the farmers to have this program where they import the help they need on a temporary basis. And for the most part, they have done audits, but usually it's just electronic. You file a form and that's it. Now they've taken it to a whole new level where they've given themselves all kinds of rights of passage onto private property.
This is the federal government in Canada.
It's in Alberta.
Is it the provincial government or is it the federal government?
Well, probably cooperation between the two.
Okay.
I would think.
So, because it wouldn't just be limited to Alberta, it would be...
Well, if they can do it in Alberta, there's no place else they can't do it.
Right.
The inspectors could walk right in, whether you're home or not, and just go through all your electronic devices, go through all your buildings, make sure that the number of people you have or what show reflected in the records, that you don't have more than what you're saying. And just this complete and total invasion of private property and of your just basically privacy rights. That they assume you're guilty and then you have to prove you're innocent. It's exactly backwards.
And I know that in different jurisdictions, the Humane Society has been doing this kind of thing, going onto properties and checking how you're handling your pets, etc., without any kind of probable cause, without warrants,
just a
breaking into homes. I've heard stories of where they've suspected there are problems, and without any real probable cause, without a warrant, without any kind of oversight, and they just break into your property.
As I understand it, the problem is they don't get any funding from any level of government. So the only way they can get funding is to impose massive fines. So it's in their financial interest to go in. There's a very one of the classic stories. This is a few years old now, but there was a lady who retired from the post office who was a dog breeder. Somebody complained. Number one, there was an exposed extension cord in the house they thought the dog might chew. So that was one thing. And the other one was it had plaque buildup around his teeth.
So plaque or gingivitis?
If I'm, again, going by memory.
Because I'm thinking to myself, like, really, all dogs have gingivitis. For those
they
of you
also have plaque.
Well, they all have plaque. But, you can give them those milk bones, and it usually helps to clear up the plaque.
Well,
at least that's what
point.
The television commercial used to say. I don't know.
That's right. And it was, I think it was by milk bone. They would say scrapes off, when the dog chews it, it scrapes his teeth cleaner.
But gingivitis is bad breath.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering to myself, okay, what dog doesn't have bad breath?
Well, ask yourself this. What dog, when it comes in outside, when it's wet, smells good? I mean, animals have odors. So this whole thing is nonsense. Most of these people who go around with inspector for SPCA on their shoulder haven't got a clue, especially about large animals in agricultural settings, like workhorses, like cattle. Like there's another famous case where a guy was a dairy farmer, and this inspector brought a vet from Toronto, a downtown Toronto vet, who'd been working with cats and dogs all their life, wouldn't know a healthy dairy cow from a dead one. And they said they're too skinny. Well, have you ever seen a dairy cow? Everything goes into the milk. They're a rack of bones. Now, they're not unhealthy. This is just the way the breed is. Holsteins and so on don't carry a lot of muscle mass. That's why they don't make good beef animals. They're not Black Angus. Okay, so they forced him to put his cows in a barn because it was cold outside. And then they said it was overcrowded. And they fined him like thousands and thousands of dollars. That's how they operate, is by generating the money they need to operate through the fines they impose on the people who own the animals they're trying to.
So it's a real scam.
Oh, absolutely, completely. It's worse than conservation authorities.
Speaking about conservation, we should go back to Earth Day. What do they do for Earth Day now? I remember when they were starting to, they wanted to everybody to get rid of their incandescent bulbs. I saw a great episode. It's reruns, by the way. I saw it on Netflix, but last night we were watching an episode of Last Man Standing.
Is that the...
with Tim Allen.
Oh, we love that series. Yeah.
And they're talking about the government in the United States having banned incandescent light bulbs. So now they want you to have these mercury bulbs. And we were actually talking about one year we were going to have people come in and turn in their mercury light bulbs. And of course, the whole plan was to have hazmat suits and everything, and have to have them turned in with these big thongs. You know, you take them carefully off the table and that. So we should do that sometime still.
That'd be a lot of fun.
A great visual thing. But now we're telling everybody about it, so, you know, people's going to go, we're losing the impact here.
Yeah, but you know what? It would be fun anyway. The whole idea of these compact fluorescent lights, or pigtails as I call them, is supposed to be to save energy, but they are a huge environmental risk. Because first of all, you're supposed to dispose of them like hazmat. How many people are going to go through? You want to have fun. I know I went to the, what website was it? State of Maine emergency preparedness website or something like that on how to deal with a broken CFL. You should have read what was in there. You had to open the door, open the window, ventilate for, I think it was 24 hours. You had to get on a hazmat suit. Don't use a vacuum to clean it up because you spread the mercuric oxide, which is what the gas in it that gets excited when you run electricity through it. That's what, lights the room. So you've got this mercuric oxide powder all over the place, along with the broken glass. Then you have the components that are inside the base of this thing. There's over 70 components and a motherboard to run this stupid thing. And when they're done, they burn out.
The first number of years that we had Earth Day, the idea was turn off your lights, turn off your electrical appliances.
Just turn everything on.
And I guess, I mean, I don't know, you don't sit around in the dark. So what I noticed people doing was lighting candles.
I know.
Okay. So I think what we should do is, if the 21st of April is Earth Day, now it's 2018, probably too late to do this year, but for 2019, around the same day, we should declare Celebrate Electricity Day. The reality is that the invention of electricity and the invention of the incandescent light bulb was a huge leap forward in terms of environmental cleanliness, reducing pollution,
overall safety.
And overall safety. When I think about everybody turning their lights off and lighting up candles, I don't go for the greenhouse gas, global warming, man-made global warming stuff. But to the extent that there's any truth in that, you're creating a whole lot more greenhouse gas, and more than that, actual real pollutants, not CO2, which is not actually a pollutant. You're actually creating these pollutants and introducing them to the environment that would not have been there if you had just turned your light on. So, in fact, turning off your light and turning on the candles, or lighting up, 15 or 20 candles around your house for an hour or for a few hours, it's actually worse for the environment.
Symbolism over substance. It's a symbolism that they embrace. They don't think it through. When Earth Day comes along, I turn everything on. Turn it off. Are you crazy? Why would I want to do that? I like indoor plumbing. I like indoor heating and central air. I like these comforts that we've given ourselves through progress. What I also like is for countries like, pick any sub-Saharan country you want to, the number one thing, if they're a third world country, that they need, never mind what we want to give them, but they need is cheap and affordable electricity, because that's the basis for everything else. It's what lays the groundwork for a modern economy. Like, think about it from just a health point of view. If you have a clinic with perishable medicines in it and you don't have refrigeration, you can't carry a lot of the medicines you need to be able to give the patients to save their lives.
Right. And so how do you generate electricity if you're not doing it through, dams and hydro generation, which, by the way, is the most environmentally sound, cleanest, safest way to do it? Or you have to have some kind of combustion. So you burn coal, or you burn something else, or nuclear. So either way, you can't get around it. This Earth Day thing it's an invention of people in the first world who enjoy all of the benefits already of modern technology.
Well, Dinesh D'Souza made a good point about this. He said something about how his country is trying to move from a third to a second world country. He's an immigrant from India. And he says, how come in Mumbai you never see a protest about global warming unless it's government sponsored? because the people in Mumbai need the kind of things that our technology that we are so embarrassed about now provide. They need fertilizer. They need electricity. They need diesel fuel. They want to lift themselves out of the morass that, technology from 200 years ago has got them trapped in. So if you want to be able to set up a modern road and rail system to move goods and services back and forth, but goods and raw materials back and forth from manufacturing plants to give people good jobs, people want that. If you were to put up a sign about Nike, you know how many people protest all these mega corporations? They don't do that in India. You put up a sign in Mumbai that says Nike, and tomorrow there's 500 people in line. They all want the shoes. And it all comes from our technology.
Okay.
Yeah, we got to do this.
Okay, you know what this means. It's time for our stupid politician of the week. We have to think of a better name for this. Stupid politician tricks.
What was the last word?
Tricks.
Trick.
Stupid political tricks.
Okay, all right.
I don't know.
We'll work on it. But for now, stupid politicians.
Okay, we looked at a few different things and we had a few candidates, but for this week, we decided to anoint Madeleine Albright Stupid Politician of the Week. So, Madeleine Albright, take a bow, Stupid Politician of the Week. Nick's having too much fun.
You got to stop making me laugh.
I'm trying hard not to make you laugh, Nick, but I can't help it.
Just the idea of Madeleine Albright.
I'm a funny guy. What can I say?
Anyway.
I should do stand-up comedy,
Oh, yeah. Stand up. Help yourself.
Let's talk about Madeleine Albright.
Please.
So I'm on YouTube the other day, just looking around, seeing what's on it. I do this sometimes. Madeleine Albright grew up in Europe. I think that her family escaped the Nazis. So she has a bit of a history dealing with fascism and etc. And that's the subject of her book. She wants to warn people around the world of a reappearance and a resurgence of the fascist ideology. And so I go, okay, that interests me. I'm interested in this kind of thing. So I click on that video and up comes Madeleine and I'm listening and she's talking about, maligning the press, being disrespectful to other people's political opinions, that kind of thing. And I think that's a little simplistic, a little superficial, but what the heck? And then comes the straw that breaks the camel's back. After talking for a few minutes about all of these trends and these characteristics of the fascist mentality, I realize she's talking about Donald Trump. Donald Trump.
Oh, my God.
Now, Nick, I'm not Donald Trump's biggest fan. I'm not even Donald Trump's smallest fan, okay? I don't really like the guy. I don't like his style. It grates against me, okay? But look, he's the president of the United States. He won fair and square, at least in my judgment he did, okay? And I haven't seen anything that he's done that's so bad. I don't like his style. It doesn't appeal to me. But fascist?
I know.
And this is... She's a Fulbright fellow. I mean, she's supposed to be a smart person.
Doesn't say much for Fulbright fellows,
wise, does it? Great credentials. And she's talking about Donald Trump. Donald Trump is her example of resurgent fascism in the world. I mean, it is so colossally dumb and stupid. In people's minds, it may not seem like the stupidest thing that politicians do. And we could come up with, like... in Alaska, right? The bridge to nowhere.
Right.
Here in Ottawa, we're going to get into this someday. I haven't done it yet, but there's in Ottawa there's a public transit tunnel to nowhere.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And so that would qualify as stupid political stuff or stupid policy. But I just couldn't let it go, Nick. I couldn't let this go that Madeleine Albright, of all people, is so stupid on this subject that she points to Donald Trump, okay? Oh, forget about the Castros in Cuba. Forget about Kim Jong-il or whatever. No, he's dead now.
Yeah.
What's it? Kim Jong. Is it Kim Jong-un? I can't remember.
Kim Jong.
It's Un. I know it's Un. Right.
Kim
in North Korea.
Jong-un or something like that.
Forget
Just
about
call him the Rocket
Forget
Man
about
of
the
the
guys
baseball.
in Iran. Forget about Assad in Syria. Forget about any of these guys. No. Our example of resurgent fascism in the world is Donald Trump. I mean, give me a break.
I know.
Well, that's stupid politicians for this week.
Yeah, well, and trust me, there's plenty more to come. All right. Michelle Rempel was in the House of Commons, and she was on fire. And I love Michelle. She is just man, she's a hammer on an anvil. She just, when she gets her teeth into something, she just won't let go, and it must drive the used sock salesman crazy. Anyway, and for those who don't know, that's my nickname for the prime minister, the used sock salesman.
Used sock salesman?
Yeah, well, he's always showing off
you're
socks.
talking about Pierre Trudeau. Good grief.
Close.
That's like me and Rob Ford instead of Doug Ford.
Yes, yes. No, it's...
Justin Trudeau.
Justin, yes. I call him the used sock salesman because he's always showing off socks.
Okay.
And it's always the same pair, so he must be selling them after he shows them off. So anyway, that aside, so she goes after him. She goes after the government like a pit bull. And I'm really, really liking the job that she's doing. Michelle stands up and she says, nobody wants to acknowledge the fart in the room. And everybody kind of gets a chuckle out of it. And down at the end, way at the end of the gallery where the last MP sits, the Green Party MP, the leader of the whole Green Party that sits in the same chair, who could have a conference of her party in a telephone booth, Elizabeth May, point of order. I think that is unparliamentary language, and the members should refrain from using. And everybody looked at her and going, what? Of all the things that have been said in this house, you're complaining about the word fart?
Yeah.
So
now, the truth is that the word fart is actually venerable Old English.
This is the same lady who was worried about the word fart, who didn't have any problem getting up just a little bit less than sober at the press gallery gala with the politicians and the media, and giving this long rambling speech where she praised Omar Khadr and had to be helped off the stage to stop the bleeding because she was embarrassing herself just right out of the room. A conservative MP walked up, just kind of took her by the arm and said, come on, that's enough, and got her off the stage. It's just unbelievable. And she's got the chutzpah to stand up and say, chutzpah or chutzpah?
Chutzpah.
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 That's it. You got it.
All right.
Get you
well, she had that. I got it. I'm going to leave it alone. To say that was unparliamentary language for the House of Commons. Like, oh, give me a break. What else have you got on your list there, Joseph? What else do you want to go over?
I'm thinking that maybe we should hold off for the next time with some of these topics, Nick. And don't forget comments at thecombatzone.ca if you have anything to say. Comments at thecombatzone.ca. And we'll talk to you next time.
All right, guys. See you later.